Now on WRDE Coast TV.
Trees aggressively blowing in Rehoboth, how people are urged to take precaution against strong winds.
And the problem isn't just in Rehoboth, but also in Ocean City. You can see how aggressive the waves are, which is why we're under a high surf warning. We'll explain all that coming up.
This fisherman who uses the Lewis Canal showing off his boat, how he hopes that new dredging is going to make his rides smoother.
Cycling around Lewis as bikers are looking for long-term fixes to problems on the road.
From the beaches to the bays, coverage you can count on. WRDE Coast TV News at 5 starts right now.
High tides and severe wind coming back to the coast. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 5. We begin tonight with weather, specifically some blustery winds.
The coast is expected to experience more severe storms, coastal flooding, strong wind warnings in effect. And one Rehoboth Beach homeowner says trees falling on her property is something she constantly worries about.
We had an oak tree in the front yard that had died, and we got it taken down specifically because we were afraid of branches falling. We do take notice of our neighbors' trees, and if things are hanging over our property, we trim. But yeah, you got to worry about these big trees.
The city of Rehoboth wants people to take precautions now in case the weather becomes more serious, cutting down loose limbs and bringing in items that could easily blow away. Good ways to prevent damages or injuries.
With all that in mind, let's take a live look outside. This is the Lewis Yacht Club tunnel and razor cam. It doesn't exactly look delightful outside as we check in with Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams.
Well, you know, there's an old phrase that goes, seeing is believing, and I want to show you exactly why we are under a high surf warning. Taking a look at our Boardwalk Plaza camera, you can see those aggressive waves that are coming through right now. Those are not little bitty waves. Those are significant waves that are being pushed along with the winds. Now, speaking of the winds, we have 33 mile per hour wind gusts at Bethany Beach, 32 mile per hour wind gusts for us actually in Rehoboth. So we see those winds are indeed churning, which is why we're under a newly issued high surf advisory that stays in effect until Wednesday at 8 o'clock for Lewis, Rehoboth Beach, as well as Dewey Beach, and that reaches over towards out in the ocean. We have also gale wind warnings where we're bracing for about 45 mile per hour wind gusts. Now, mind you, that concern for high surf is along the entire Sussex coast, all the way down towards Ocean City, all the way down towards Chincoteague. Now, we're going to break that down along with concerns for flooding coming up in a moment. Till then, back to you, Charlie.
Thank you, Paul. The Lewis Canal is going to be dredged soon by the Army Corps of Engineers. That's expected to start on October 9th. Dredging is going to go from the Roosevelt Inlet to the Freeman's Highway Bridge. The last time the canal was actually dredged for maintenance was almost 20 years ago. Boaters say the shallow canal puts a strain on equipment.
Especially in the spring of the year when things first start up because the boats have been laying. Once we get using the boat a lot, we've dug it out some. But I prefer not to put my shafting and my gears and stuff through that arduous task lots of times.
The dredging is expected to finish in December, but according to the Army Corps of Engineers, there is a possibility that the project is going to extend to Rehoboth Bay.
And that brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, do you think the Rehoboth-Lewis Canal should be dredged? Let's take a look at the results.
And here's what we've got so far. Heavily in favor of yes right now, 90%. Of course, this is the first time we've run the poll today. It could change. Go vote on WRDE.com or use our Coast TV mobile app, and we're going to share updated results on Coast TV News at 6. Breaking news tonight, a judge has ruled that Donald Trump committed fraud for years while building the real estate empire that brought him to fame and the White House. Judge Arthur Engoron, in today's ruling from a civil lawsuit brought by New York's Attorney General, found that the former president and his company deceived banks, insurers, and others by massively overvaluing his assets, along with falsifying his net worth on paperwork used in making deals and securing financing. Judge Engoron is slated to hold a non-jury trial starting October 2nd before deciding on those claims and any punishments that he might impose. Can House Speaker Kevin McCarthy find an exit strategy to avoid a government shutdown and keep his speakership? Time is running out to fund the government before the Saturday night deadline, but a group of hard-right Republicans has vowed to block it. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how, if Speaker McCarthy turns to Democrats for help, that could be the promise that gets him removed.
In the scramble to prevent a government shutdown, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is running out of time and in a bind. As he tries to appease hard-right holdouts in his own party, he's packaging a short-term funding bill with beefed-up border security.
I think that's the appropriate way to be able to keep government funding, secure our border, while we continue to keep government open to work on the rest of the appropriation bills.
But many of those hardline House Republicans have vowed to never back another short-term spending plan again. And turning to House Democrats for a clean bill without border policy could cost McCarthy his speaker's gavel.
Instead of worrying about the Rubik's Cube about how he holds on to power, if he does what's right for the country, I actually think that will be good politics.
In a new video message, President Biden calling out Republicans for backing out of a spending deal reached months ago.
It's time for these Republicans in the House to start doing their job, doing the job America elected them to do.
If the government does shut down, paychecks will be delayed for millions of federal workers, even military members who've been protected in past shutdowns. Across the country, Americans frustrated with the dysfunction.
Times are really tight right now, and I'm sure every check counts, so that's my concern are for those people.
For now, federal agencies getting contingency plans in place for a shutdown that appears inevitable. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
It's worth remembering that even if the House does manage to pass a short-term spending deal, that includes some of those conservative policy provisions. It'll likely be dead on arrival in the Democratic-controlled Senate.
Today, President Biden became the first sitting president ever to visit a picket line. This was at GM's Willow Run Redistribution Center in Wayne County, Michigan. Biden's trip to the battleground state of Michigan also comes just one day before former President Donald Trump is set to speak to current and former union members in Detroit.
You guys, the UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too.
This is the second week of the strike against General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis.
Cyclists in Sussex County say that trail etiquette is falling short, especially in the city of Lewis. Tonight, the city's Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory will address the issues at its committee meeting. CoastTV News reporter Heidi Kirk shows us why this has become a top priority for the city.
About 4 miles of bike trails, all located in Lewis city limits.
I haven't witnessed any disasters, but I feel sometimes like it's a disaster waiting to happen.
Jean Whitten walks and rides on the Lewis-Georgetown Trail weekly. She says the trails can be dangerous, with cyclists speeding by without respect for other users.
The rules around the use of the path seem to be very vague to people.
The Delaware Department of Transportation and the City of Lewis are working to create a safer network of bike routes in the city. A recent study finding safety is the #1 issue cyclists face in Lewis.
When I spoke with one member of the Lewis Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, he said one of the biggest issues here is that when these trails were built, they weren't meant to handle the volume of people that they get today, and that causes some ongoing issues.
CoastTV spoke with dozens of cyclists, finding many have similar issues with trail congestion, e-bikes, and poor etiquette from other cyclists. But some will tell you the trails are solid.
It's very pleasant riding through here, especially the trails. I mean, it's just, I can't believe I live here and I'm riding on these trails. It's so nice.
Whitten says if she could change one thing, she'd make the rules clearer here.
Signage beside the path and on the path would probably help a lot.
A growing community of cyclists looking for some long-term fixes to some problems. I'm Heidi Kirk in Lewis, CoastTV News.
DelDOT has announced Old Landing Road will have a single left turn lane closure and Route 1 going down from 3 to 2 lanes. That's for that ongoing work in the area. DelDOT says they're going to install a manhole in this section of work. The agency says it's going from Monday, October 2nd through Wednesday, October 4th, weather permitting.
And more work is happening at Route 1 and 16. DelDOT says drivers on Route 1 can expect lane closures from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, and closures on Route 16 from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. all 7 days a week. The agency says these closures will continue through April 30th. This is because of pavement embankment and bridge work on Route 1 southbound, where the overpass is being built. DelDOT expects that to finish in the late fall of 2025.
A new police chief has been named for the city of Salisbury. The city announced today the hiring of Dave Mindshine as the city's police chief. Mindshine is a 36-year veteran of Salisbury Police and has served in numerous capacities, including 12 years as assistant chief of police and the last 2 months as acting chief.
Dozens of acres are set to stay open space. Today, a ribbon-cutting ceremony was held for the Stephen P. Hudson Park. That's at Route 9 and Cool Springs Road. It's a 30-acre open space parcel that will connect Milton to the Lewis-Georgetown Trail. The location of the parcel was strategic.
This now is easily accessible all the way from Lewis, from Rehoboth. This now gives a landing spot for the many new families and neighborhoods that are in this area to be able to come park and be able to walk or bike on the trail system.
5 other open space projects are being worked on in Sussex County, including the Hopkins Preserve, which is expected to have its own opening about a year from now. Nanticoke Crossing Park by the Woodland Ferry is another space that's being worked on.
Join us here on Coast TV to watch Sunday Night Football. This Sunday, it's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the New York Jets. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. and then right after the game, stay with us. We have your hyper-local Coast TV news to get you ready for the work week.
Still to come, water quality slightly declining in the Chesapeake Bay. What experts believe is the cause.
And the surf is getting worse. I'll update you on the latest coastal flood warnings in our area.
But first, the refugee cap proposed by the Biden administration, parts of the world where admissions will be increased. That story up next.
They sell Mohawk carpet here?
We do. Come take a look. We have a large selection of Mohawk carpets. The exceptionally durable and silky smooth Smart Strand line from Mohawk provides you with years of comfort.
So soft. Let's take it. This is our house.
I definitely can do this for $5. Matt the Carpet Guy, your local Mohawk dealer in Selbyville and Lewis.
The Powerball jackpot is always a lot of money. Right now, it's a lot of money. Powerball is over $800 million.
That's a lot of money.
Please play responsibly.
For weather coverage you can count on, get the WRDE weather app with live radar and severe weather alerts, plus a 10-day forecast. Download the free WRDE weather app, built by Paul Davis Restoration and Home Remodeling.
Solo Cup Saturday night. It's an alternative country party with me, Jared. Brought to you by Midshore Recyclers Incorporated. Saturdays at 7 on Coast Country, 103.9 and 106.3.
Never miss a game for your favorite local team. Take the DSN app with you wherever you go. Whether you're out to eat, camping with friends, or at home relaxing with your family, the DSN app notifies you when your team is on live so you can watch the game as it happens or watch videos on demand. Keep up with local sports all from one app. From your mobile device to Fire Stick, Roku, and Apple TV. Download the DSN app today. Driven by Preston Automotive Group.
The Biden administration plans to keep the refugee cap at 125,000 people next year. That's according to a draft report that was obtained by CNN. It proposes an increase in admissions from the Western Hemisphere and a decrease in admissions from Europe and Central Asia. According to the draft, the new cap would be 35,000 to 50,000 refugees from Latin America and the Caribbean. This year it was set at 15,000. The changes outlined in the draft would provide a legal avenue for migrants without having to journey to the U.S.-Mexico border.
The U.S. government is working to restore sweeping regulations for high-speed internet providers. Under the proposed rules, the Federal Communications Commission would designate internet service as essential communications. As an essential service, internet service providers like AT&T, Comcast, Verizon would be banned from blocking access to websites and online content. The rule would also prevent ISPs from selectively speeding up service to favored websites or for those that pay extra fees. On October 19th, the agency will reportedly vote on whether to advance the rules for public feedback.
Progress is underway for the downtown recreation complex transformation in Ocean City. The town says the next phase of construction will begin in the park's East Block area on around Sunday, October 1st. Starting then, all park amenities, with the exception of the Ocean Bowl Skate Park, will be unavailable for public use. The town says that the reopening of the downtown recreation complex is expected during the summer of 2024.
Contractors will be working on a sewer repair in Greenwood on Wednesday, September 27th and Monday, October 2nd. The repair will be on Mill Street near the VFW.
More wind and aggressive waves are likely to continue throughout the rest of the night. I'll update you on the latest warnings for our area.
Do you have one of these? Let us turn it into this. It's not magic. It's the Car Store's Buying Center. We make it easy and it's hassle-free. Call today or visit yourbuyingcenter.com.
Draper Media presents the Shore Living Expo, celebrating health, wealth, and home. Saturday, September 30th from 10 to 4 at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center. Brought to you by Spicer Brothers and Pohanka. Great demonstrations and interviews with Delmarva Life's Lisa and Jimmy on the expo stage, along with prizes and fun, including a weekend getaway to the Poconos from Destinations by Donaway. From crafts to home services, boats, cars, and RVs, this is a free event you don't want to miss. Go to WBOCevents.com.
It's Ocean Down's $25,000 cash splash sweepstakes. Earn scratch-off cards to win prizes. Plus, swipe on September 29th to activate your entries for a chance at a special delivery of $25,000 cash. Ocean Downs Casino, where the fun shines.
Our mission here at the Boardwalk Buddy Walk is simple: to create a community where people with Down syndrome or any other cognitive disorder can live, work, and play. That's why every October we invite family and friends to a full weekend of acceptance and inclusion in Rehoboth Beach. This year's event takes place at 9 a.m. at the Rehoboth Beach Boardwalk and Bandstand. So come out to this year's Boardwalk Buddy Walk and walk with us.
This is the Wheel of Fortune, you know.
Let the good times roll.
Wow! You feeling it?
I'm so happy.
I like that.
Tuesday at 7 on CoastTV.
The Buying Center. We're here to buy your car or truck. Get an offer in minutes and get paid the same day. It's fast, it's easy, and you can get paid the same day. Call the Buying Center now at 302-381-2674.
From gentle ocean breezes to small country towns, Sussex County has it all. That's why you need a real estate company that is familiar with it all. Mann & Sons offers decades of experience throughout Sussex County. Whether it's helping you purchase your forever home or find the perfect vacation rental at the beach. Trust our experience. Trust Mann & Sons.
For over 30 years, the difference is clear. Mann & Sons Real Estate.
This weather's brought to you by
Mann & Sons Real Estate.
Before we get started, because I have a lot of things to pass along to you, be sure you take out your phone, scan the QR code in the corner, because we have several warnings and watches that you need to keep track of that's going to affect you. Coastal flood warning is in effect for Sussex. We're looking for a 1 to 2 foot rise in water. High surf warning is active, so we're looking at 4 to 8 foot waves with high rip current risk. In addition to that, gusty winds up to like 25 to 30 miles per hour. All of that is why you need to have it right here in your hand, just like this, so you can see what's going on. Our Lewis camera, courtesy of Tunnel and Racer, shows you just how aggressive those waves are. You see those boats right there? That kind of shows you how big these waves are, because that gives you a little bit of a scale to see. Now, the reason why it's a little hard to see is because the raindrops are all over the camera right now. But that live depiction is something to behold. And then in Ocean City, look at how these waves are just pushing. And that surge, that storm surge that's coming up right here, That's a result of those winds pushing through. And we're concerned about what's happening during high tide. So this forecast is going to be more tide and water driven than anything else. Okay, a little different than what I usually do, but stay with me. Coastal flood warning is active until midnight. Dewey Beach, Ocean View, Fenwick Island. Now we have a coastal flood advisory. Now this means that we have the potential for flooding to occur, but they're not quite the same. The dark green is where flooding is happening. The light green is where flooding has the potential to happen. Now, the gale wind warning off the coast, that's where we're watching out for about 35-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This high surf advisory is talking about the waves, okay, and that stays in effect until 8 o'clock Wednesday. And that high surf is just dealing with the force of those waves that are coming through. So that's the delineation between all these warnings and why they're so important. Oh, yeah, and then there's the green. Once again, flood warning, dark green, flood advisory, light green. That's how that sparses out. As far as the rain is concerned, really not all that impressive, to be honest. Less than 1/10 of an inch so far today in Georgetown, and we've recorded approaching 1/4 of an inch for us in Ocean City. Here are some more impressive numbers. Beyond 1/2 inch in Dagsboro, and we've had over 1/4 of an inch for us in Harbison, Stockley, Delmar, Milford, and Ellendale. Not quite 1/2 inch of rain, but we are expecting more rain for later tonight, 8 to 9 o'clock, Georgetown along Highway 113. Cloudy skies still sticking around the area, and we're going to stay cloudy, actually. The winds are going to stay very gusty at about 30 miles per hour. Then there are the wind gusts. We're looking at 6 to 8, 4 to 8 foot waves from us from Lewis down to Fenwick Island, and we're looking for the same thing for us. Now, as far as the future rain is concerned, we're not looking at much in the way of additional rain showers, but here's a look at your exclusive Paul Davis Restoration extended forecast, 50% chance of rain on Thursday, and maybe some stormy weather on Friday.
Paul, thank you. Well, the holiday season will be here before we know it. That means the return of Draper Media's Bless Our Children campaign. Through generous donations from businesses and individuals, we do our best to make sure every child has a present to open Christmas morning. We do that by supporting nonprofits that handpick families in need, groups like the Boys and Girls Club. Applications for nonprofits like that are now open. They're due October 31st.
And at Draper Media, we're inviting you to celebrate with health, wealth, and home at the Shore Living Expo. Watch the demonstrations, the local shop and vendors and crafts from, we've got boats, we've got cars, we've got RVs, we've got all kinds of stuff that's going to be there. This is an event you're not going to want to miss. Good news, admission, that is free. It's at the Wicomico Youth and Civic Center on September 30th from 10 to 4.
After the break here on Coast TV News at 5, a new state record catch of blue catfish confirmed by DENREC. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Gamey Elliott in Salisbury today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Download the DSN app today, driven by Preston Automotive Group.
We are down to the final 11 acts. They are united by one dream. They all want to be the next AGT champion.
Amazing.
The AGT finale, tonight on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
We find missing people who have slipped through the cracks and we bring them home. I will do anything to bring people home. New case.
We make quite the partnership, don't we? Found October 3rd on NBC and streaming on Peacock.
Welcome to the ride home on Coast Country 103.9 and 106.3. First rule of the ride home, we definitely talk about the ride home. In fact, tell all your friends. Second rule of the ride home, we have fun. Top 10 Tuesday, Would You Rather Wednesday, and every day you pick the songs on the high five. And the third rule of the ride home, we don't take ourselves too seriously. You've got enough to stress about. So let me handle the ride home, weekdays from 3 to 7 on Coast Country 103.9 and 106.3.
100.9% classic country plays real country.
The closer you get, the further I fall. 6 days on the road and I'm gonna make it home tonight.
2 to 100.9% classic country, or download the app to listen anywhere.
This is the Wheel of Fortune, you know.
Let the good times roll.
Wow! You feeling it?
I'm so happy.
Woo! I like that. I can hardly wait to see what's next.
Tuesday at 7 on Coast TV.
Jeopardy! Second Chance.
Brought to you by Moderna.
I don't have a lot of confidence in my makeup skills, so I was glad to come back.
You're just here for the glow up.
Exactly why I'm here.
I'm going to be honest, the makeup is half the reason I'm here.
Tuesday at 7:30 on Coast TV. The Today Show. Weekdays at 7 on Coast TV.
How about a little fun here in the newscast? A new state record blue catfish has been confirmed by Denrec today. The 42.5-inch, 48-pound blue catfish that you see here was caught earlier this month by Chris Andrews of Bridgeville while he was fishing in the Nanticoke River on her personal boat at night with friends. Take a look. Andrews' blue catfish broke the previous state record by 4 ounces.
I didn't know fish got that big, so that's too much for me. Well, water quality in the Chesapeake Bay is slightly declining. That's according to the Chesapeake Bay program. The program model shows a decrease in nitrogen pollution, but an increase in phosphorus pollution entering the bay. The program says experts believe the water quality is still recovering from the impacts of unusually wet weather in 2018 and 2019.
And exciting news for UD fans. Delmarva Sports Network is going to be broadcasting Northeastern at UD Women's Soccer. That's going to be live Thursday, September 28th at 6 p.m. on the Delmarva Sports Network. Always love those guys. They do a great job. More games can be found on our website.
Back and better than ever, celebrate 100 years with us at the Delmarva Chicken Festival, October 7th at Purdue Stadium in Salisbury. Free admission and fun for all ages with contests, kids activities, music, food vendors, and fireworks. Don't miss out, October 7th.
Long COVID is a serious and emerging health concern, but your primary care physician can help manage its symptoms and provide ongoing care.
By seeing your doctor regularly.
You can get help with symptoms of fatigue, shortness of breath, and brain fog.
They can also provide you with referrals to specialists and connect you to support groups.
Mental health care is also important for those experiencing long COVID.
Healthy Families is here to help you recognize the challenges of long COVID and prioritize regular visits with your primary care physician.
Elevate your business and engage more customers with Draper Media. Our diverse network of media properties such as WBOC, WRDE, 93.5 The Beach, and 102.5 WBOC reaches over 500,000 Delmarva residents across various channels like television, radio, social media, and digital platforms. Enhance your brand's visibility across the Delmarva region with Draper Media. Our passionate team of media specialists and content creators are dedicated to showcasing your brand through engaging commercials, dynamic drone footage, eye-catching graphic and web design, and social media branding. Share your brand story on our popular programs, capturing the attention of your target audience. Trust your brand with Draper Media, a family-oriented company serving the Delmarva community. Contact Frank Hamilton today at fhamilton@wboc.com to get started. Delmarva Home Show. Explore the hidden house gems here on the peninsula. Exciting tours of stunning homes, charming cottages, and luxurious beachfront properties. Designer ideas and insider tips to help inspire your home decor. Discover the best of Delmarva's architecture and interior design. A showcase of the most unique and beautiful homes on Delmarva. Start your tour Sunday mornings at 11:30 on WBOC.
Back and better than ever, celebrate 100 years with us at the Delmarva Chicken Festival, October 7th at Purdue Stadium in Salisbury. Free admission and fun for all ages with contests, kids activities, music, food vendors, and fireworks. Don't miss out, October 7th.
This is the latest look at our live radar. Now, listen, we do have the coastal flood warning for our immediate area until midnight, and, of course, the coastal flood advisory in Ocean City. Here's a look at your exclusive Paul Davis Restoration Home Remodeling 10-day forecast. We've bumped from a 50% chance of rain up to a 60% chance of rain on Friday, and now we snuck in about a 40% chance of rain on early Saturday morning. Ugh. I don't like talking about that either.
That's okay, Paul. Thank you. And thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
My golf opportunities evaporating. More news and local weather. You can download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we're going to see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.